What's going on, YouTube? It's the Paydirt Pioneer coming back at you with another Paydirt review. Today on the docket, we are on to our third day of the 12 Paydirts of Christmas. We got our 3 French hens, and in order to celebrate some of our French fans out there, probably don't have any of those actually, to be honest. We have some Paydirt straight from Quebec, Canada, where they do kind of partially speak French. We have Prospectors Paydirt from the Prospectors Paydirt store. The link will be in the description below. Let's learn a little bit more about this Paydirt and see what we're getting ourselves into. Alright, and welcome back. So as you can see, I'm kind of skeptical of this Paydirt. There's no set amount of gold. It was a pretty expensive bag for not having a set amount of gold. And then I literally just opened up the box about a minute ago. And this is what I got. They do give you some nice stickers, so that's nice. But there's not a whole lot orderly in this bag. Let's get her cracked open, though, and see what we're looking at before we classify it down. Again, nervous to have spent over $60 on a bag of Paydirt that you don't have a set amount of gold coming back. That seems like a pretty big risk to me. But excited to get my hands on it, see what it comes out. And again, we have some nice Quebec Paydirt. Alright, I'm not going to open it out of this bag because this looks like the bag did pop open. I want to make sure we recover all the gold, but it is in a coffee bag. They must have anticipated the bag bursting. This does come from Quebec, so it took, a good length of time to get here. Let's get this cracked open. Let's get it classified down, and we'll see what we're getting ourselves into before we see how much gold we recover. Let's go. Alright, and welcome back. So we got everything broken down and classified. I will say I 100% recommend getting down the classifiers like I got. I love them. I've been using them a lot in my videos. They're fantastic. But let's look at the material getting into. This is our biggest material. It's plus 10 material. It is a little bit dusty, so it will get washed off. We'll have the wash off be included separately. We got some sort of a nutshell there. We also have these purpley, I don't know, gemstone-y looking rocks. If you know what they are, feel free to leave a comment about them. I'm no gem expert. I'll set them aside though. They look nice. But something a little bit different there. We have our next size up. This is Plush Kitchen Strainer. Again, it will get washed off to get any of that dust off. A good amount of material here, so hopefully find some nice sized gold in that material. After that, we have our 10 to 20 kitchen strainer. Here, we'll put that over to the side. Not a whole lot there. Decent amount, you know, all things considered, but we had a lot more 20 to 30 mesh. A pretty hefty amount of material there. And then the most material. And then the most material is going to come in at our minus 30 mesh. So very sandy material. A lot of black sands as well. We got that pulled out. This will get worked on first to see if we have any gold that we picked up there. But again, just very sandy material overall. Some interesting rocks up at the top though. But without any further ado, let's get to the panning. Let's see how much gold we recover and see if this is snake oil or if we're looking at something good that I can recommend for you all for the 12 Paydirts of Christmas.
Prospectors Paydirt to review. We do a final grade to the product is also just called the Prospectors Paydirt. So typically this product looks like it has kind of a perma sale going on for $64. There is a pretty easy to find 20% off coupon, which I used. I decided to use that as my cost. I think that's the fairest. That being said, 64 is what you would typically pay for this unless using a coupon. For shipping, it's a pretty high number, $17 for shipping. No way to get around that. He is from Canada, so I kind of understand it. Although I don't know the ins and outs of shipping, but I do feel like that's a little bit expensive. It gives you a total investment of $68.20 for this bag of Paydirt. Let's do a quick little review, little refresh of our goal number. Grams recovery got 0.463. Oh, a little bit slow on Excel this morning, so not even a gram of gold back. Gives you a gold value of $29.63 or an ROI of 57.87%, 5.786 ROI score. Now, when you're looking at a smaller bag of Paydirt, that's not the worst ROI we've gotten, but considering the fact this is a $68 bag of Paydirt, that's really low. I mean, you can do $68 at like gold nugget sales and you're going to be getting, close to 90-95% ROI. So I would say that that's a pretty bad score considering how expensive this bag is. Let's go over our SPDD score. For once, it's actually, not a very strong score. For shipping, it took forever to get here. This was the last bag of Paydirt I purchased, and it was amongst the first ones I ordered. Paying $17 for shipping. Again, I get it's coming from Canada. I couldn't get any updates on it. I kind of just sat around and waited until it finally got to me. You say you're getting a track packet. I didn't have any sort of tracking that came with it. So shipping is going to get a 0.5. It did arrive, I guess, so I can't complain about that. But it took a long time, and the whole process and the payment for it, I just think is way too much. For packaging, the packaging overall was nice. You have a nice little sticker on the Paydirt. I can't complain about it. It wasn't anything special. We'll give it just a 1.5. In terms of damage, it was damaged. It was already open. It was inside as a block bag. So it looks like they kind of prepared to send it to me like that. I'm giving it a 0 for damage. You got it. I shouldn't give it a 0. I'll give it a 0.5 because even though it was, in shambles, at least there was a second bag around it to collect anything that I may have missed. And then for description online, very vague description. It makes it seem like you're going to get a lot better Paydirt, up to 4 grams of Paydirt, which I didn't expect to get, but I also didn't expect to get less than half a gram. I do think that's pretty disappointing. We'll give it a 1 out of 2. In terms of fun score, this was not very difficult Paydirt. You kind of, once you get the magnetics and all that pulled out, it's pretty simple to get through. I'll give it just, split grade 2.5 out of 5. In terms of variety, most of your variety was in the bigger stuff, but you're not getting a lot of bigger gold, which is just kind of disappointing. I like it if I'm getting a lot more bigger material. I want to find some bigger pieces of gold. I'll give it a 1.5 out of 5. For gold tape, this is where it's really going to lose a lot of value here. You're not getting natural Paydirt, which is fine. You can put in gold with that, and I understand. But they do the thing that I hate, and the moment I saw it when I was painting, I knew it was going to be a bad bag of Paydirt, where they, flatten out these, small pieces of gold into these really big discs, so it looks like you're getting this nice big chunk of gold, but in reality, it doesn't weigh anything. It's just really flat and thin. That's pretty much all the gold you got. You did find some okay smaller gold towards the end, not enough to make it that good. I'm giving it a 1 out of 5. I'm just not impressed with the variety of what they've got. And then for the value of the bag, again, it's hard to give it a good value when the ROI is not that good for how expensive it was. I guess it's fine for a beginner to get through, but there are better beginner bags out there. I personally wouldn't recommend this to anyone. So for value, I'll just give it probably, I'll say a 2 out of 5. Obviously it's Paydirt, you can learn to pan it back, but not really all that great. And as you can see, that gives us a final score of a 45.9. That is red, and that is some certified snake oil. And I will say, and I haven't, I'm only about halfway through getting these Paydirt reviews done for the 12 Paydirts of Christmas. This is my least favorite bag that I had to do. From the cost of it, you're making a significant investment. You could have invested in a much better bag with a higher ROI or just better value Paydirt overall. And you didn't. You got a low ROI. You got really mediocre gold. and really be a preparing experience. So it's not something I'd recommend to anyone. I'm curious if there'd be anything that I personally dislike less than this. Again, even if that grade on the surface looks okay. So thank you for joining us today. Through day 3, on day 4 next week. But until then, I've been the Paydirt Pioneer. Keep on prospecting and please don't be buying the snake or the Paydirt.